So, ladies and gentlemen, let's please give a second round of welcoming applause to the Honorable Mr. Sisinio Eyebe Mbana Makina.
No. Voy con la discusión. Okay, thank you very much. I guess you've appreciated the video documentary about Equatorial Guinea. Though if you have noticed, this is a video almost like 6 years ago. So you can imagine the level of development right now that we have in my country. And I'll start by saying that I am most honored and elated to have been invited and given this opportunity to conduct this presentation of my country, Equatorial Guinea, as a land of opportunities in this alluring venue of this year's Berlin Economic Forum here at the Academy of Cultural Diplomacy. In this context, I particularly wish to thank Mr. Manfred Nowak and his team for the excellent organization of this event. Therefore, before I continue with the in-depth account of my expose, let me take a little moment to brief you about the happily friendship existing relations between Germany and Equatorial Guinea, which most of you don't really know about. In this sense, let me tell you that bilateral relations between Germany and Equatorial Guinea have improved in the last few years. And just for the records, going back in the time, and not so long, you should know that Equatorial Guinea opened its embassy in Berlin in the year 2005. And in September of that same year, the first extraordinary and plenipotentiary ambassador was accredited to the federal government of Germany. And as such, those initiating an intense diplomatic work that has resulted in the increase of political and economic relations between both countries. As a result of this work, currently, the Lufthansa Airlines operates several weekly flights from Frankfurt to Malabo, the capital city of Equatorial Guinea. And numerous German companies were welcome to establish in the country. In the year 2009, the person who was then the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Equatorial Guinea, Mr. Pastor Micha Ondobile, held the first ever talks with his counterparts, Mr. Frank Walter Steinmeier, who was then also the German Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs. And also with the president of the Parliamentary Friendship Group of the Bundestag, in charge of relations with Western and Central African countries. In turn, Germany also opened an embassy in Equatorial Guinea in September 2010, an initiative that led the person who was then the Minister of State or the Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ms. Cornelia Piper, to visit Equatorial Guinea in November of that same year, accompanied by a 30-member business delegation. Even though, in spite of all this effort that has been made, the same German embassy was closed recently in July 2001, alleging administrative issues. But currently, there are hardly any cultural relations between Equatorial Guinea and Germany. Germany does not have any cultural institute in Malabo, and there have only been any scholarship recipients, only few ones who received fundings to study in Germany. German is not even taught in any country school or university. However, the first report of German presence in Equatorial Guinea dated back to before the First World War, when many German names stood out in Equatorial Guinean streets, as for example, agriculture companies or factory managers. Names still stand out, though not functioning anymore, such as E.H. Morris, Jansen and Tomalin, B. Hoffman, Casa Woman, that means house woman, Kudeling or W. Loschman. Their factories sold all types of products and services. The plantation owners harvested and exported to Germany coffee, cocoa, rubber, and wood for shipbuilding. During the First World War between 1915 and 1919, the protection troops of the German colony of Cameroon received asylum from the Kingdom of Spain and settled in camps of the outskirts of the capital city of Equatorial Guinea. A monument of this episode remains in a popular street of the capital as an obelisk that was made in commemoration of the deceased German troops. At the end of the interment that came with the end of the war, in gratitude, the Germans donated the entire musical band to the Spanish Civil Guard in Equatorial Guinea. Also, some Germans decided to remain in the country, who dedicated their activity to agriculture. Names that recall the existence of long coffee and cocoa farms, such as Bokoko Drumen, Kaifer, Kasalua, Zeist, Krona, Lampa, and so on. And moreover, the Lampa neighborhood has its names after an old cocoa farm of the outskirts of the capital city, Malabo, that's still prevalent up to now. Even in the National Cemetery, you can still see the tombs of some of the families named above. The Germans also participated in construction of a railway linking the capital city, now Malabo, to the seaport town of Luba, and were very present in the cultural sports life of Equatorial Guinea. So, bilateral trade relations have been developing in time. They peaked in 2008 as a result of oil exports to Germany. At the same time, German trade with Equatorial Guinea was worth of 36 million euros in the year 2005 and reached 81 million euros in 2014. German exports to Equatorial Guinea reached a value of approximately 19 million euros, and exports from Equatorial Guinea reached around 62 million euros. The main imports from Germany to Equatorial Guinea are beverages like beer, Heineken, so. Then from Equatorial Guinea to Germany, you can identify products like oil and chemicals. The oil boom stage in Equatorial Guinea allowed the government to make a large amount of expenditure on infrastructure in all types of construction projects, a situation that also provided business opportunities for German companies. For example, a German company built an airport in the district town of the mainland territory, as well as another German company contracted shares with one of the most important banks of Equatorial Guinea called the National Bank of Equatorial Guinea. As I said before, the German company Lufthansa opened its flights operating in Malabo since April 2008, and since March 2012, It has operating daily round-trip flights from Frankfurt to Malabo, stopping over in Lagos, Nigeria. Since then, Germany has provided aid for development cooperation until the mid-1990s. Actually, the development of Equatorial Guinea has not been dependent on foreign financing, thanks to the country's income from the oil and natural gas sector. In October 12, 2018, Equatorial Guinea celebrated its 50 years of anniversary independence from the Spanish colonial rule, with a message of peace and stability, while the nation journeys towards a self-sufficient economic sustainability. Nowadays, Equatorial Guinea is one of Africa's fastest developing economies since 1995, when the discovery of oil dramatically transformed the nation's destiny under the competent reins of its visionary president, Eyebe Mbana, who has taken the country up to the level of being one of the poorest countries in Africa. When he took power, to find itself sitting upon the threshold of this historic milestone of a modern, innovative, and a reference point for all African countries. As a result of the socioeconomic importance of aiming to raise the country to emerging status through the diversification of its economy, with the completion of the National Economic and Social Development Plan of 2020, and taking into account the need to align the country's development with the Sustainability Development Goals of the United Nations and the Africa Union Agenda of 2063, the government of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea, based on the recommendations of the Third National Economic Conference of 2019, saw the need to reorient the new National Sustainability Development Strategy 2035. And as a result, the Equatorial Guinea Agency has been renamed to the National Development Agency of Equatorial Guinea, which booklet you can find around the corner by my embassy staff, that gives you and provides you all necessary information details for German companies on how to invest in Equatorial Guinea. Ladies and gentlemen, this embassy, of which I have the honor to represent, believes that it is only industrialization that can rapidly turn the economic wheel of our country, Equatorial Guinea, and is a crucial segment of this Berlin Economic Forum. Let me conclude by saying that the government of Equatorial Guinea intends to develop its 5 pillars of economic diversification and investment opportunities for the German private sector to fall in, and which are the blue economy, the digital economy, the tourism economy, the green economy, and the yellow economy, where Equatorial Guinea can benefit on all Equatorial Guineans of the training and the transfer of technology and the know-how of the German expertise. This indeed is our goal, and we intend to pursue it with all the real and available resources. Meanwhile, I urge you to visit Equatorial Guinea next time you are on vacations, so that you can see by yourself the variety of tourist attractions, such as the rainforests, the protected natural parks that represent the 20% of the national territory exquisite nature, the scientific reserve, the white and volcanic blonde sand beaches, several paradise islands, historic Spanish colonial buildings, a rich cultural and artistic heritage, an attractive tropical climate all year long, suitable for the development of the tourist industry and modern conference centers. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.